Hi guys, my name is Kinsey and I am a pilot and aircraft owner. And the number one question I get is, what is the cost of owning a plane? I literally have all of my receipts, all of my paperwork. I want to take you guys through what it actually costs to own a plane. So if you're looking to buy an airplane for the first time, you're probably going to buy a Cessna 172, 182, or a Piper Archer or Warrior. Number one cost, of course, is going to be the purchase price of the plane. Yes, you can get a loan for this purchase price, or you can buy it cash. It all depends on your financial situation. But that price can range from $50,000 to probably $150,000 for a great starter plane. Also, what matters when you do the purchase price and if you get a loan is insurance. My insurance for the year, I bought on the higher end because I had new avionics, I have a beautiful paint job, and it is an Archer and not a Warrior. So my plane cost me $150,000. So that was on the very high end. When you're insuring an aircraft, you're insuring on the purchase price. So this is very important because your insurance premium is going to go up. I also rent mine back to a school. When I say this amount, know that it is way higher for me because of the school and also because I have a more expensive plane. So mine for insurance for the year is $8,700. Okay, that seems like a lot. It is. Some of my friends who have a plane that maybe costs them $70,000, they're looking at $2,000 for the year in insurance. So it really depends on the cost of the plane, how much you want to insure. So that does range. I just want to be completely transparent with the cost. So mine is $8,700. So the next big cost is going to be your fuel, your oil, and normally we put aside a little bit of cost every single hour for operating costs. This is for planning for maintenance because you're gonna see maintenance is the big cost as an owner, okay? For my Archer, which is pretty similar to a Cessna as far as fuel burn, we are gonna be burning about 10 gallons an hour. Okay? So 10 gallons an hour, usually fuel is about $5 to $6 an hour. Round that up, we're gonna be paying $60 an hour for fuel just to fly the plane. And then I like to put away $10 an hour for maintenance cost, okay? Does that make sense? So we've got $60 an hour for fuel. Let's just say $10 for oil, and then we do $10 for random operating and maintenance costs. So that puts us at $80 an hour to fly. It's actually pretty doable. It's not bad. And if you have a friend jump in your plane, you can pro rata share and split up that cost. But the rest of the costs are going to be on you. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty that nobody wants to talk about, but I'm going to show you because I've been an aircraft owner now for 1 year, all the expenses that I paid. I have for sure these 6 months here, which has been not bad. When I first bought my plane, we had to do a lot of repairs. Even though it passed with flying colors, the inspection that we did when we did the pre-buy, be careful who you hire for a pre-buy. There was a lot we needed to repair. Let's just go over the cost of maintenance. And then we had in-house maintenance, so this was easy to do and it wasn't too bad. But I'm just gonna run through random maintenance costs and say them out loud just so you know these random things are going to come up. Obviously, this is over the year. We have replaced right tire and replaced 2 brake linings, $580. New compass install, $300. Replace cowl fastener. Oh, my cowling fastener, we had to replace that, $250. New magnetic compass, $975. Magnetic compass mount, $75. Then we have a new tire, $387, a new tube, $360. Brake linings, $50. Cowl fastener, $37. You also, every single month, need to pay for your tie down and your parking. If you have a hangar, that is so lucky. I wish I had a hangar. Hangar costs can range depending on the airport you're at from $500 to $1,000 a month. Could be a little bit lower if you're at a small airport. I tie down my plane. Okay, so I literally just pay for a parking spot, and that parking spot is $100 a month. It is not covered. I wish my aircraft was protected and it was covered, but it's not. Monthly clean. This is another thing. You want to keep your aircraft clean. Obviously, you can clean it yourself, so this can be a cost that you can save, but I personally have someone clean it once a month, and that is $100. The other thing you have to think about is inspections. I have mine at a school, so I get a 50-hour and 100-hour inspection. You don't have to do that if you're just a private pilot owner, but you do need to have an annual inspection. Annual inspections can be very costly. So I have my annual inspection here at $1,500. So map that in every single month, $1,500. There was a lot other random repairs. This was when we first got it. All those crazy things you heard, it was like adding up. It was one thing after another, and we constantly needed to replace it. And at that time, I had probably spent about $5,000 just to get the plane up to speed to be completely safe and where we wanted it to be. Now, I'm gonna go over the last 6 months of my ownership operating costs, which actually hasn't been that bad. Now that we got the plane worked out the kinks, there hasn't been a lot of repairs. In the last 6 months, because it was up to speed, it hasn't been bad. We had the insurance. I paid that in January 1st, $8,000. That was a big payment. Then we had nitrogen service, $97. Not bad. ELT service. I needed a new ELT. That was $900. Actually, that is all the repairs in the last 6 months. So not bad. So if you get your plane up to speed and you have a great operating machine, but I also know coming up, I was informed by my maintenance crew that I'm going to need new rims soon. And that's gonna cost me about $1,500 to $2,000. So the biggest expense with owning a plane, I do believe, is gonna be the maintenance, and you never know what's gonna happen. Make sure when you're buying an aircraft, it has low time, and you're not gonna be worried about those things. And when you're doing the big inspection, you're looking at the small, if it's a landing light you need to repair, that's totally fine. So breaking it all down, you guys, in what is the cost of owning a plane? Just know when you first buy a plane, you're gonna make a lot of repairs unless it just happens to be pristine. But from there, you have insurance, operating costs, oil, fuel, tie down, and cleaning. So not too bad. The other big costs that you don't think about are taxes. When you buy the plane, you have to pay tax on the plane. So you have to report to the IRS how much you bought the plane for, and you're gonna pay tax on that. Then you also have to pay for your registration. These all have costs. I don't actually know my exact cost. I believe my registration was $900. So those are gonna be your big upfront costs. Luckily, I will say, if you use your plane for business, it is a big tax deduction. So last year I was able to take a big tax write-off by buying my plane because I use it for my business. And so that is very helpful. I hope this was really helpful and I really broke it down for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know below. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. I'll be totally transparent on everything about my ownership or about my life as a pilot. So if you have any questions, let me know. A little moment for my sponsor. Thank you guys so much to 10X Health. I have been on a 10X Health protocol, and I've shared this on YouTube before, but what it means is that I did a precision genetic test that figured out my genes. And then from there, we got the supplementation, an entire customized supplementation daily for what I need to take for my genetics. So that was step one. And then step two was I did blood work. And then from the blood work, I figured out what I'm deficient in. So I take my sachet, and then I take all my customized supplements of everything that I was deficient in. And then 10X will just send them on a monthly schedule. And then the fun thing from that is after that, I take another blood work test in 3 months to show how I'm doing, how my body's responding, and if I'm still deficient in those things, which is awesome. So I've gotten a food plan, weight loss plans, food I should avoid, everything from A to Z. I'm taking methylene blue with my red light. So I am on a superhuman protocol with 10X. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because they have been the best sponsor, the best person ever. Like what they've offered to my life has been insane, and I am feeling fit and amazing. So I wanted to give them a quick shout out. Thank you guys so much always for watching.